Welcome to this explainer. Look, if you're a college administrator, a dean, or you hold the budget strings, your desk is probably buried under proposals promising the next big revolution in edtech. Well, today, we're skipping all that hype. Instead, we're going to look at a highly practical framework that directly solves the information overload crisis happening in our classrooms right now. It actually redefines modern pedagogy. And yes, by the end of this, I'll be asking for a targeted budget line to fund an initiative, but one with very real, measurable returns on investment and student equity. Let's dive in.
To respect your time, here's exactly where we're going. First, the new literacy problem. Then, the framework to solve it, knowledge cartography. We'll look at the specific mechanism making it happen, the skill document, followed by the institutional and student ROI. Finally, we'll cover what I think is a massive equity breakthrough before finishing up with a clear ask, funding the pilot.
All right, Section 1, the new literacy problem.
Let's just confront a really hard truth here. Our current pedagogical models, they're built for a problem that simply doesn't exist anymore. For centuries, the absolute biggest bottleneck in education was just getting access to information, right? The old literacy was basically finding facts, hunting through a textbook, tracking down a citation. But today, our students definitely aren't suffering from information scarcity. Honestly, they're quite literally drowning in it. AI can generate competent, perfectly passable knowledge on demand in seconds. So if we keep grading students primarily on how well they memorize and retrieve facts, we are quite literally measuring the wrong thing.
To put this into perspective, there was this really powerful moment in a recent Intro to Data Science course over at Metro College. A frustrated student was working inside an AI-powered research notebook, and she suddenly hit on her actual roadblock. She said, "I don't think my problem is that I don't know the answer. I think my problem is that I don't know what I should be asking." That right there, that is the exact hinge of our new reality. The whole paradigm is shifting from just consuming answers to actively interrogating the material.
Which brings us to Section 2, Framework, Knowledge Cartography.
So, how do we actually teach students to ask those right questions and navigate this massive abundance of info? The answer is a framework called Knowledge Cartography. It's the teachable, totally career-defining skill of organizing, synthesizing, cataloging, and navigating knowledge until a student can confidently apply it to their discipline. In this AI era, the machine is handing you the bricks faster than anyone in human history has ever gotten them. But the student, they still have to learn how to lay those bricks well. You don't just memorize the map anymore. You have to draw it.
Think about traditional retail for a second. The store used to put this highly curated counter between you and the product. For centuries, the college lecture was that store, passing finished, polished knowledge right across the counter. But just like e-commerce completely bypassed the storefront so you could reach directly into the warehouse, knowledge cartography teaches our students to reach directly into that messy, iterative warehouse of knowledge construction itself.
Moving on to Section 3, Mechanism, the skill document.
Now, I know this framework sounds great in theory, but as accountable leaders, you need to know how this actually operates on the ground, right? Enter the Markdown Skills document, or SKILL.md. This is a super simple, plain language file built on an open standard that works right across major AI platforms like Claude, Gemini, and Moonshot's Kimi. Basically, it encodes true professional expertise into an AI. A skill document lays out a specific expert role, a step-by-step iterative process, and a rigorous, self-critiquing rubric. It's a structured map that trains an AI exactly how to evaluate a specific task consistently every single time.
And baked right into these documents is an incredibly powerful quality assurance loop. When a student submits their work, the AI doesn't just hand them the answer. No way. It prompts the student to draft something, evaluates that draft against the rubric, forces them to revise it based on specific failures, and then runs a final check. This built-in loop simulates actual professional project discipline. It ensures students are practicing against an objective, industry-level standard over and over until they achieve true mastery.
Let's look at Section 4, Institutional and Student ROI.
Implementing this mechanism fundamentally shifts the value proposition for the whole institution. These skill documents, they become reusable, totally portable intellectual property. A faculty member builds a skill document once, and suddenly the entire program can reuse it. This creates compounding enterprise knowledge network effects across your courses at near zero marginal cost. Not only does this position your college as an AI-native, future-ready choice for enrollment, but crucially, it multiplies the great instructor's reach. It gives your faculty massive leverage rather than trying to replace them.
And for the students, the return on investment is accelerated, highly measurable competency. because they're practicing against real-world industry rubrics, like the ones actually being deployed right now in Herzing College's community support worker programs. They graduate truly career-ready. They aren't just memorizing facts, they are actively mastering the tacit project discipline and professional etiquette that they actually need to succeed on the job.
This leads into Section 5, the equity breakthrough.
Look, beyond the financial and operational ROI, we have to address what is arguably the most urgent mandate for any educational leader: social impact. Professional success has almost always depended heavily on tacit knowledge. You know, that unwritten etiquette, the documentation discipline, the subtle understanding of how it's really done. Traditionally, you only absorbed that stuff if you had a parent in the field, family connections, or the social capital to just be let into the room. This hidden curriculum keeps marginalized students from professional success every single day.
So here is the absolutely crucial point. The SKILL.md document democratizes that tacit knowledge. By explicitly encoding the professional standard into an AI, it provides a tireless, completely non-judgmental mirror for any student to practice against, privately and infinitely. This is a genuine equity breakthrough. It completely closes that competency gap that social class and family connections used to guard. It literally levels the playing field.
Because of this breakthrough, we really need to honestly reframe the panic around AI cheating. If we just treat AI as a plagiarism machine, we are totally missing the forest for the trees. The real urgent opportunity here is teaching our future workforce how to responsibly create, navigate, and organize compounding knowledge. We actually want our students to harness this incredible network effect of knowledge. It's a modern workforce skill we just cannot afford to neglect.
Finally, Section 6, the Ask, Fund the Pilot. Which brings us directly to our proposal for this committee today. We are asking you to approve and fund a targeted pilot initiative. This budget will deploy the Knowledge Cartography framework in select courses, allowing us to build up a rich library of institutional SKILL.md intellectual property. And we'll rigorously measure the impact on student competency, career readiness, and those vital equity metrics we just talked about. This is exactly how we turn theoretical pedagogy into a distinct, highly measurable competitive advantage for this institution.
I'll leave you with this final thought to chew on as you review the proposal. For centuries, our main job was to hand students a completed map of the world. But today, the terrain is infinite, and it is shifting by the second. The map isn't the thing we hand students anymore. The map making is. Thank you so much for your time, your leadership, and your commitment to the future of our students.